Good evening from Raleigh, North Carolina on this Tuesday, December the 26th. Recording this video about 1 minute before 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and this is just a quick video to look ahead and give a general synopsis of a very minimal, low impact chance for some winter precipitation in the form of snow, maybe some light sleet and some freezing rain, with a possibility for that, and we'll talk about some potential impacts for that going into tomorrow morning, Wednesday, December the 27th, in the morning hours, and we will look at how it should be a minimal event, but still kind of a nuisance system. It's quick moving, there's limited moisture, so it should not be a huge deal, but still warrants looking at, as icy roads can definitely pose problems. So starting off here with our winter weather advisory with these counties shaded in purple, you have anywhere from Scotland and Hope County down here up to Johnston County, Wilson County, all the way over to Martin and Washington County, and down all the way to the coast to Craven County, Jones County, Onslow County, all down here, even into northeastern South Carolina here. And this is just the advisory text reads, watch out for the potential for up to, I believe, a tenth of an inch of ice, a glaze to tenth of an inch of ice on elevated surfaces like bridges, porches, tree limbs, and things like that. Should not be a high impact event at all, but just they put that out there to say, hey, be aware of this, this might happen. Don't be surprised if you wake up and it's sleeting or there's some freezing rain happening outside and some spots will be slick. So let's take a look at what is setting this up and kind of going forward what's going to be causing this. And remember, our ingredients for winter weather are cold air, cold surface temperature, cold air aloft, and ample moisture. So revisiting the soil temperature here, if you remember back to our other winter event earlier in the month, temperatures were in like the lower 50s and the upper 40s. Kind of the same here in this area. Remember, this is our area of focus. I'm kind of in here. If I can get my trusty marker out here. This is our area of interest in here, where our advisory was for. So if we kind of look in this area, soil temperatures are still fairly warm in terms of winter weather, and these are you kind of see the representation of some soil textures coming in here, with more sandy soils down here maybe being warmer, your 49, 46, 48, 51, a little cooler up here where you may have more a different kind of soil texture leading to that. But overall, temperatures are not super supportive of any winter weather, but they're cool enough that if anything comes down quick enough, it may stick in the form of a very light dusting of snow, or maybe some ice accrual on some elevated surfaces like tree branches or porches or decks, like I had said earlier. But overall, not a big deal. It's so quick, this is not really going to play a role. Just wanted to show you soil temperatures to show you where they were. With cold air expected over the next several days, certainly something to watch. It may play into a potential system down the road, but we'll talk about that at the end of this video. Getting to tomorrow's system, second ingredient we need is the cold air. And I'm going to rewind this. This is the HRRR, High Resolution Rapid Refresh. Some people call it the HRR model. And what we're looking for here is down in North Carolina. Here we go. So this is the area of interest. Once again, my cursor is going to show where I'm pointing that specific temperature. And of course, anything below 32 degrees means that it's supportive of wintry weather, but overall should not be a big deal once again, because temperature should be marginally right above there. And what you have to watch out for in these systems is, even though they can be quick, if the ground temperature is at freezing, but the precipitation falls as rain due to it being a little warmer up in the lower levels of the atmosphere, you can get your freezing rain. Luckily, it looks like that may not be the trend as much, and it may be more some limited freezing rain, but maybe a little more sleet or maybe a couple of snowflakes. So hopefully not a big chance of any icy road rage or things like that. But if I fast forward here in time, you can see that the temperatures are very marginal. Let's take us to 7 a.m. here at 12Z, 35, 34, 35. So right around that, mid 30 area. So it's looking like the threat for freezing rain not completely gone, certainly diminishing maybe, but this is also one model run. Things could stay cooler overnight, so it's just something to watch. But the cold air is there in place to support some winter weather, and I'm going to get back to that slide in a moment. And this is just the NAM North American model, NAM 3-kilometer resolution. That's just saying it's a really high resolution model. And if I back up here, I'm getting ahead of myself. So this is starting tonight, and if we go forward in time, here is 7 a.m. and you can see this kind of blue pop up here. And you can see that's kind of, traversing over there. It's very spotty. It's not going to be like a solid shield of precipitation. It will come in the form of, some showers. And this particular model is going to represent snow as the blue. And earlier it had more pinkish, more purple colors in there, which would represent some more ice pellets or freezing rain when the model picks up that it's freezing at the surface and maybe falling as liquid rain. But overall, maybe kind of beefing up as it goes in northeastern North Carolina here. Just something to watch. It still should not be a big system. It's moving so quickly. It's out of here in about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours. It's completely gone. With a little trailing area there behind. If that forms, it's really in question here. If that really beefs up and kind of develops into that, with this swiftly moving low off the coast here. But overall, I can zoom in to give you a better picture here. And let's see if this is going to cooperate with us. I think it will. Yeah, so this is just a closer view here, and every time you see the image animating, I'm moving forward an hour by pressing an arrow key. And you can see, very limited amount. It has some pink and blue kind of representing maybe some wintry stuff is falling, very spotty, and then that continue. This is, 7 a.m., then 8 a.m., 9, 10 a.m., and then this also kind of has it, maybe a pocket of some like a heavier little snow shower or freezing rain. The trick is that to understand, if I actually go back here for a moment, we can look at what's actually going on at using the sounding viewer here, and what we're looking at is a vertical cut through the atmosphere. And what you see down here, this red temperature represents the line. So this is also called a skew T because the temperature is actually skewed on this plot, so that the 0 degrees Celsius or 32 degrees Fahrenheit line is actually skewed and not exactly going straight up and down. But what you want to look for here is that this particular software that I'm using here online, tropicaltidbits.com, a great website, it actually prints out the surface temperature here at here showing this 34 degrees. So that would be good news for freezing rain, because it would be a little too warm for stuff to freeze effectively and should limit impacts on the roads. But once again, you may have seen on your local news, I think they were brining the roads in the Triangle area and southeastward. The Triangle area, for those not familiar, is Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, and then areas south and east of there. So definitely, preparations were put into place. It should not be a big deal. Just watch out on bridges and overpasses if you have to commute. If you do not have to commute in the morning and you're still enjoying a winter break, just wait until the precipitation is ended and give it some time to warm up. We'll warm up into the lower 40s tomorrow and hopefully knock some of that, if any, ice accumulation off. And then going back to this model, it just shows it moving off, taking its time here as it goes off and loading these next few frames. But overall, not too bad. So if we look at the National Weather Service forecast of this, it has this kind of large blanket area of saying, hey, this is how much expected ice accumulation we have. And they've actually upped their totals up here in Laurenburg and Scotland County down here to about 5/100ths of an inch, which is enough to cause problems. It does not take a lot to cause problems on the road. 1/100th of an inch, maybe 2/100ths of an inch in Smithfield. But this whole swath that you saw colored in purple up here in our winter weather advisory, anywhere in here could see icy problems on roadways, elevated surfaces like porches, overpasses, power lines, tree branches, anything, tops of cars. You could even see some ice beating up on there. So just something to watch, to be aware of. It should not be a high impact event, but it still warrants looking at and saying, hey, this will be happening. If one unlucky area gets, one local area could pick up, like this Laurenburg down here, they could pick up 5/100ths of an inch of ice over a certain area of the town and have really slick spots, and there could be problems. So it bears watching. I plan on getting up early to see what's going on. You can stay tuned on some of my Facebook updates, but of course your first line of communication is always official forecasts such as the National Weather Service. And any kind of forecast like that. Second, you can go to your local news. Don't rely on social media for accurate and timely updates. Refer to your NOAA Weather Radio and National Weather Service forecast office, which for here most people would be under the Raleigh branch. So that's number one way to get that information. This should not be that big of a deal in terms of severe, impactful winter weather. It should just be a very deal a glancing blow and kind of move on. But the possibility for some accumulating ice is there. And I also wanted to end off this video by showing this, which is it's called the ECMWF. Some you may have heard it called the European model. And what this is showing is this website is through, well, I've lost it. I think weathergraphicsmodels.com. If you want to visit this yourself, you can see the URL up here. But this is basically showing ensemble model, so 50 perturbed members. So there's a master model that you may see painted on the map sometime, but this is taking all the ensemble solutions and all the different members by tweaking the initial conditions, tweaking the initial starting temperature or starting wind speed or things like that, and showing what may may transpire in the coming days. But what I want you to focus on here is, the graphs tell you percent, probabilistic forecast kind of, and say, anywhere within this blue, range here could be where the temperature falls from the 5 to the 95th percentile. But what I want you to focus on here is this is kind of the summary for you. And here's Tuesday, here's tomorrow, high of 42, low of 28. Thursday, we probably won't even get above freezing with lows in the upper teens. Friday is cold, Saturday's cold, Sunday is very cold, and then Sunday through Tuesday to kick off 2018, we may not get above freezing for several consecutive hours, maybe even a couple days. So that's a trend to watch to see if this still stays cold. And this can also be influenced by potential winter weather. If you have a snowpack on the ground, you're going to be a little bit cooler. So this is a trend to watch too, that the models may be picking up on that other system I referred to earlier in this video. The models do kind of want to keep some things going on, but just like we heard winter weather was possible on this Friday, and it still is. I wrote that little Christmas poem about it on my Facebook page. It's still possible, but it's not looking likely at this point. It's still showing a wintry weather system, maybe to ring in the new year around that time frame, maybe December 31st, January 1, January 2. But overall, it's over a week. Well, it's less than a week out at this point, but the model that was showing the storm on Friday that I was talking about on Monday evening is now showing nothing. So that's only been 2 days. Excuse me. I posted that on Sunday night. Christmas was yesterday. Today is Tuesday. So the model that had something 2 days ago now has nothing. Well, today is Tuesday. If we get to Thursday night, and that model may be showing nothing either. It's the trend of the model. It's the whole difference between modelology and meteorology. We have to look at the dynamics and what's going on. The model paints one picture, and I could talk for hours about the complexities of the model and what's going on there. But the main story here, what's for certain, it'll be cold, and it'll be cold for long periods of time, and not as cold as our friends up in the central and northern plains, up in the Ohio River Valley, and up in New England. Certainly not as cold as that, where they're dealing with wind chills, well below zero. But overall, it'll be cold to ring in the new year, and some chances for some wintry weather that I will post on my Facebook page, and also I'll try to do some additional videos with the Christmas holiday. That proves difficult to sit down and be able to talk weather for a long amount of time instead of enjoying time with family and things like that. But that's beside the point. But overall, just be on the lookout. We have chances for winter weather. Should not be a big deal tomorrow morning. You may see some sleet pellets falling. You may see some snow flurries that may amount to a little dusting if you get a particularly heavy shower of that snow. But overall, impact should be very limited. Should not be a big deal. Something to watch. And this video was just kind of to serve as a general reminder. And I could switch over to the Wilmington and Morehead City Newport offices to show the kind of continuation of this forecast. But if you just imagine this kind of going out anywhere in this shaded area with the winter weather advisory, could see that isocool up to maybe 1/10 of an inch in the most extreme scenario, but most likely a couple hundredths of an inch, maybe some not at all. Maybe on the northern fringe here you might get some snow flurries. So we'll have to watch and see how this one develops. Should be a very low impact event, so hopefully everything ends up unscathed and it's just pretty to watch and doesn't have any real effects on the roads. But we'll keep an eye on it, and I will be up in the morning to watch and see what's happening, as I am here in northwestern Johnson County, so I'm technically in that advisory area. So I will be seeing what's going on, and if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a Facebook message, or you can message me on YouTube, or you can send me a tweet at AndrewWXCenter. And if you have any other questions, just message me through those mediums, and otherwise, I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.